Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to today's review. Today's review is of Robot Koch. If I said that correctly, Koch, I don't know. And it's his album called The Other Side, which me and Brett have listened to. So, as I was the one that picked it, I will go ahead and give my overall view of the album first. So, if there's something I wanted to say before I do that, was the way I see it, because this isn't really my type of genre, as I mentioned in the previous video when I chose this particular album. I've kind of see it a bit like this. Imagine that you are, or there is a football pundit who normally reviews football matches. It's almost like a football pundit reviewing a taekwondo match or a judo match. Like, it's still sports, so it's still music, but it's not the genre or the sport that you're familiar with or used to watching. I kind of feel like that a little bit with this.
That's a really good analogy, actually. I quite like that. That's quite good.
Yeah. So bearing that in mind, I want to say that I didn't overly like the album, which is kind of not surprising. I found it to be quite lackluster, it's that kind of electronic music that quite downbeat, I would say. Brett will give his opinion shortly, so I don't know if he's going to agree or disagree with that, but certainly not kind of dancing sort of electronic music. To me, it's more kind of something you can have on in the background, maybe to help you relax or whatever. I think the biggest problem for me with this album was that I was kind of waiting for it to kind of get going. There were certain tracks and I was like, okay, is this it? Is this all that's going to happen? It was like, it didn't like improve as it went on. It was just same kind of level kind of thing. However, saying that, I didn't actually mind listening to it. I just didn't particularly enjoy it, if that makes sense. But listening to it was fine. It was inoffensive. I even actually kind of listened to it a few times, really, in a way. I suppose second and third time I was kind of just going through the tracks a bit more. But I think the biggest positive from this album, this might surprise Brett, is that I really liked one song or one track, and I'm going to download it.
Really, I thought you were going to say it's because it was a really short album. That's why you liked it. That was the good thing about it. That was a real short album.
Well, the album, it had what, 13 tracks, 40 odd minutes, and yeah, the song that I like, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, I've listened to it like over 10 times. I really do like it.
Okay. Well, before you say it, there was one song on there that I probably liked more than slightly the others.
Yeah.
So I'll be wondering if it's the same one. I don't know if it will be.
Okay. Do you want me to say what it was?
Yeah, go on.
Night Sky.
Okay.
Second track.
Yeah, okay. I went for Glass Drops as my sort of more overall favourite.
Yeah.
But I did have Night Sky, and here was a couple of other songs that I didn't mind on there. Okay.
So what was your general overall review of the album?
Yeah. So I think another point we should probably make, so I know from the last time I said I quite don't mind electronic music. I think what we've also got to remember as well is that with all genres of music, you probably get different levels of. So, for example, you might have someone who's into. There's a difference probably between rock and then hard rock, or heavy metal and other kinds of metal. So it's almost like different levels there. So in terms of electronic music, this wasn't right up there. It's proper out there, over the top. But like I said, it's quite listenable, but at the same time, it probably not quite commercial pop electronic music, if that makes sense.
Well,
it's kind of sort of.
Yeah, I think if I could just add something there, I think that's a good point. So back until very recently, until we started doing this, to me, electronic music was just kind of like house techno music. That was all I kind of saw of it, very kind of narrow-minded. But since we've been doing this, yeah, I now understand that electronic music has genres of its own, as you've just said. So yeah, this is less commercial. Um, I think it's a lot slower, kind of chilled out kind of style. But yeah, there's all different kinds of electronic music, and that's, like I say, something that I've only just come to realize. I think that's an important point you made there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, so a bit like you, quite. I mean, there were differences in the songs. There were some of them more slower. There was definitely a lot of experimental stuff, so a little bit weird things going on there. There was one or two tracks I think which were a bit more almost like drum and bass and a bit more dancey, shall we say. I can totally get why people probably say you probably need to be on drugs to enjoy this type of music or this particular album. But it's kind of what you said there. It was just, I think we've talked about this before, where if you're in the right atmosphere and you're in a nice trendy bar and this is in the background, it'll probably be fine. I also made a note to say there are definitely songs on there which you could imagine being on like car adverts. So they're showing images of cars driving around. It's kind of music you would have to advertise stuff like that, with perfume and aftershave, that kind of thing there. So yeah, didn't love it. Be hard to really hate it. And like I said, there was one or two, well, I put three songs which I kind of liked from it, and then some bit more obscure ones on there really from the album.
I think you talked about kind of that not all the songs were kind of the same, it's a bit experimental. So I'll talk about the songs shortly. I have made notes on all of them, I guess. But
yeah, just to be clear, I should be saying they were all very similar. I think it wasn't like every single one. There were ones which were a little bit more slower and ones which were a little bit more upbeat. When I say a few more, there was only like one or two. I think it was quite samey.
Yeah, I mean, what I kind of appreciated was the fact that some of the tracks were with lyrics, and a few of them were not. It was had a nice range. I don't know if you noticed as well, because I was listening to it on Spotify. It tells you who the song features. I haven't got it in front of me exactly, but most of the tracks, I think bar maybe 5 or 6, featured at least somebody.
Yeah, John. I think his name was John something.
He was
I did it on YouTube, but it did say the featured artist on some of those.
John was the guy that was doing the lyrics, like on Night Sky and some of the other some of the other songs.
Night Sky. Yeah, I think the one I liked as well, guys. So generally, when he appeared, he was the ones that I generally liked.
But can I just check? Did you actually listen to all 13 tracks? Because when I looked on YouTube, it only was showing us 11 tracks.
No, yeah, I've got a list of 13 tracks that I listened to.
I got 13 tracks on there, yeah. So yeah, for me, for that type of music, I guess it was all right. Maybe your expectations were a little higher because you're a little bit more. Well, you tend to prefer that, well, music a little bit more than me, maybe. So maybe I don't know.
Kai, again, like I said last week, I had very low expectations because I think you get so many mixtures of electronic music, and even though it's a genre I don't mind, it's still something that I wouldn't necessarily always go back home to listen to on a daily basis.
Okay. So if I quickly go through the tracks here, I found it very difficult to make notes on most of these because I just didn't know what to write. But I'm trying to kind of jot down something. So some of these I've just written stuff for the sake of it. So the first song, "Heal," which I think you said you didn't mind.
Didn't mind that, yeah.
I just
again, whether it was the opening song as well, and it just like, oh right, actually this isn't too bad. Let's get it down on the list. And that's what I was thinking. Oh, this really could be for like a car advert and stuff. So it was just innocent, just a nice listening song.
Yeah, I mean, I put down uninspiring start. Like, I mean, just the song I don't know if I meant the beginning of the song, or I think I meant the song in general. I just kind of found it a little bit, well, it was all right, but kind of nothing really happened. I think that's kind of the way I felt about this album. Nothing really happened. It was just a bit, as I said earlier, a bit lackluster. Kind of, it needed a bit something, but maybe it's just a style of music, and that's just the way it is. The The second song, Night Sky. You know, as soon as that song came on, I wrote down good start. I enjoyed the beginning of that song. So I can actually honestly say I like that song from the word go. Just a nice general tune. As I say, it's really grown on me, that song. I've listened to it like over 10 times. And yeah, I'm a big fan of it, which is surprising. The Other Side, I wrote down no lyrics, nothing much happened. The next song,
yeah, kind of with that one, The Other Side, I just said it was a bit all over the place, really. It was a bit more experimental.
Experimental. For Island, I just put down meh. I don't know, just again, I didn't know what to put. Didn't really like it.
Oh yeah, again, a bit trippy, a bit weird sounds. This is what I was thinking. Oh, maybe this is a druggy album to listen to potentially.
Okay. And then Lights, I put down strange robot voice. That was all I put for that. I don't know. Scratching
yeah, I think it was the same. Yeah, sort of weird sounds and stuff.
Now, the next one's interesting. Glass Drops, you said was your favourite.
Oh, sorry, can we just go back to Lights, actually, very, very quickly? So actually, what it reminded me of at that point, I don't know if you've watched a lot of Friends, but there was an episode when Ross was in a band and he was then showing the guys some of the stuff he used to do on a keyboard. It kind of reminds me of that. It was just random sounds being played. That's what it kind of reminded me of there.
No, I haven't seen that from Friends, but yeah, okay, fine. And yeah, Glass Drops, I think you said that was your favourite track.
Yeah, out of the album, yeah, it would be the one I was swaying slightly more towards. Again, maybe I might think differently if I listen to it again, but yeah, that's maybe because those other couple of songs were really a bit too out there. Suddenly it was back to normal, and yeah, just didn't mind that one so much.
For me, the only note I wrote down for Glass Drops was boring. So it wasn't that I like really hated it. I just, again, same sort of thing. It just, for me, nothing really happened much in it. But yeah, it was a more normal kind of song, I think, from what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's generally with electronic music. So you're probably used to a lot of pop songs where you generally start and then it will always change a little bit, even towards the end. With this sort of stuff, because it's all electronic, it does just, it can be the same song a minute repeated or 20 minutes repeated.
But saying that, there's probably like electronic music fans that kind of notice the differences that go on with the sounds, maybe that probably we don't notice so much, because we're not so much into it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, I suppose.
The next one was interesting. Backwards. So you talked about experimental stuff. So I wrote down unusual. To me, was this song, I guess, going backwards kind of thing? Is that what it was trying to do?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe, actually. It'd be good if we could listen to it backwards and see if there's like a hidden message or something. But yeah, that probably makes sense, because yeah, again, it was just experimental, random sounds, noises. Yeah.
It sounded to me like it was like on rewind, extra fast. Basically, that's what it sounded like.
But I didn't overly mind it. It was just a bit weird. Yeah,
just weird. I didn't dislike it. I just thought, okay, a bit weird. Auto Dreams, I wrote down fall asleep. I think I just meant you could fall asleep listening to this.
Okay, it's funny. On my notes, I said by this point everything's now starting to sound the same. Probably a bit sick by the album by this point, I think.
Okay. Midnight on the Moon. I wrote down trance-like, space-like sounds. I didn't mind that so much. It did have some kind of spacey-like sound, which, you know, the title, Midnight on the Moon. So I kind of like that kind of idea when you have the name of a song or whatever track, and then you're trying to replicate those sounds. Yeah, it's all right. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, same. I think at that point I was probably thinking this, apart from the ones which seem more, I keep repeating it, feel like you need to be on drugs. This is, again, you could be more like in a bar in the background, just nice sort of atmospheric music, shall I say.
For Tape Deck, I just put down okay. Again, nothing really happened in it, but it was all right.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one. I thought it was okay. Again, it had off mate John in that one
Yeah.
as well, I think.
For feel, I wrote down female voice, not much happening. So it's a little bit different. I suppose I had a woman in there, but I don't know. Again, you kind of wait, you know, like on a normal kind of pop song, you normally got like a catchy chorus. But I guess with this type of music and these songs, it hasn't really got that. It's not kind of that. It's not trying to do it. It's not trying to be like that. You know, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, just interested in that one. So it feels like, yeah, you had a female singer just saying one or two words on repeat. And I don't think one of those words was feel, which I thought was quite interesting. So I had a look at the lyrics, and I think the lyrics were, what about, did I write the lyrics? Oh, maybe I didn't write the lyrics, but I thought, or maybe it could have been in German. Maybe there was a German word that meant for feels. But yeah. And again, it was a woman's voice that kind of ruined the song for me in that one.
Okay. And then the penultimate track, we had Bugs, which I wrote down one of the better tracks. That was all I put. You know, it was all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put it was sort of question mark with that one, yeah.
Then an interesting one was Love, which was the longest track on the whole album, over 5 minutes long. But I wrote down it never started. It was like, I don't know, it was like the same, almost the same thing throughout, or at least that's what it sounded like to me. There was like a kind of almost fire burning part, like a burning fire, it kind of sounded like.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what's the reason for that? Is it because it's the last song on the track? It's kind of like the album's going up now in smoke. It's the end of the album. I don't know.
What he feels about love? Does love burn? Does he feel like love's just dwindling away and stuff? Yeah, I don't think I want to try and get too deep into these albums and thinking stuff into that. But yeah, again, just maybe it was just a way to sort of end the album.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of an interesting one in a way. And the fact I've managed to find a song out of that album that I really like, that's pretty
I'm
impressive.
surprised, to be fair. Surprised by that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we've generally covered that quite good depth, really. I think overall, not the worst album ever in the world, not the best. A couple of all right songs.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, then. So I don't think we've got anything else to add on this album. So yeah, that will be all for today's review on Robot Koch, The Other Side. So thank you for watching. Join us on Wednesday for the next album that we're going to randomly choose from a choice of 3. Yeah, so see you guys on Wednesday. Goodbye.